this is really interesting, isn't it? Because this is Britain's biggest insurer, I believe, sounding the alarm over a government decision.
That's right. The government recently confirmed that it would allow new drilling in the North Sea for oil and gas, particularly at the Rosebank field, which is the biggest known field in the North Sea. It's about 80 miles off Shetland, which is relatively accessible by North Sea standards. And the justification was that even the Climate Change Commission, the government's own in-house sort of green watchdog, has acknowledged that by 2050 we'll still be using lots of oil and gas for like a third of all our energy needs, down from 70% now if you include transport. So it makes sense, you'd think, to use our own oil and gas rather than shipping it in from around the world with even higher carbon emissions. But the CEO of Aviva has taken it upon herself to criticise that. Let's have a look at what Claire Coutinho said. She is the Energy Security Secretary. We've just got a quote here. Claire Coutinho said, "These licences are a welcome boost. It's 27 new licences in the North Sea. Using domestic supplies is better for our economy, the environment and our energy security." But then Amanda Blanc, the CEO of Aviva, one of Britain's biggest insurers, of course, she says, "I'm worried that UK climate actions stalled this year. The UK's climate goals are under threat due to a lack of practical and detailed plans. The UK's leadership position in climate change mitigation is in serious jeopardy." Now, as well as allowing for more drilling in the North Sea, new drilling, which of course Keir Starmer and the Labour Party have ruled out, we'll see if they stick to that, given that trade unions want more drilling in the North Sea because of all the jobs. As well as doing that, Rishi Sunak, of course, also pushed back the target when petrol and diesel cars, new petrol and diesel cars, will become illegal to make or to sell in this country from 2030 to 2035, which is where the EU is. So I do think this will cause some consternation. I mean, Amanda Blanc's on the board of BP. And so she's sort of arguing against herself in some ways. You know, I have to say this. Trade union bosses will say we need more drilling in the North Sea. A lot of industrialists will say we need more drilling in the North Sea. Even some environmentalists I know agree with the Prime Minister that we need more drilling in the North Sea rather than shipping in lots of liquefied natural gas from America, which has huge carbon emissions. And they will accuse Amanda Blanc, I'm not accusing her, they will accuse her of being a kind of politicised CEO who's burnishing her CV, so when she stops being CEO of Aviva, she can get lots of nice speaking gigs on the sort of international environmental circuit. I'm quoting directly from a conversation I just had with a leading trade unionist. I'm not saying that, but a lot of people will think that.
But Liam, call me a Philistine, but why is
You're a Philistine.
Thank you. Well, we all know that. But why is a CEO of an insurance company banging on about climate change when surely it's her job just to have lower insurance premium for Aviva customers?
Well, you'd have to ask her. As an observer to these things, as somebody who's been a business economic journalist for 30 years, I'm older than I look, I think, you know, we've got this class of CEO these days who seem to think that their role is to be like activists rather than spending all their time making their company work better, and their legal obligation, which is to maximise profits for their shareholders. Shareholders, of course, pension companies and all the rest of it. And, you know, so she's taken this decision to make this statement. It raises her profile a bit. I don't know. You'll have to ask her. She hasn't really given any justification for why she said this. She's just said, and a lot of people would disagree, that this is bad for UK jobs. Well, if you run the GMB, Britain's third biggest union, which Gary Smith does, he thinks it's absolutely nuts to stop drilling in the North Sea, and he's putting enormous pressure on the Labour Party to agree with what the Tories are saying. That Labour have said, of course, they won't reverse the Tory decision to have new drilling because they know that would really upset their union paymasters. It strikes me that this is all about corporate politics and personal positioning rather than Britain's energy security. And I think a lot of our viewers and listeners would really like, as we go into a tough winter, our political class to focus on our energy security.
And also saving money on my home insurance and stop banging on about virtue signalling. That's just me.
But she would deny that, of course, and we must make that clear.
Thank you very much, Liam, and you're back with us in the next hour.